we received shocking news from home. My mother's hard work on the fields was being destroyed by a herd of wild boars. To protect that harvest, we chose the specialized hunting bow, a weapon that demands silence and absolute precision. Without hesitation, we set out. Today, this bow is not just for hunting, but for preserving the sweat and effort of an entire season. We moved quickly to the vehicle and headed straight into the waiting forest. Battle plans, the positions of the automatic feeders, and each member's coordinates were laid out clearly. Wearing camouflage gear, boots gripping the damp soil, radios checked, and bows firmly in hand, arriving in the forest at dawn, the silence was eerie. Soon, the sweet trap we had set paid off. Their greed became a fatal mistake. As the herd feasted carelessly, I held my breath, sighted the largest boar, drew back the bowstring, and released. Thud! The arrow pinned the beast to the ground. Relief washed over the team, because the first shot always sets the rhythm for the entire hunt. The rest of the herd panicked and scattered. Our first victory was still fresh when the radio crackled with news. The second feeder was working perfectly. Suddenly, a greedy brute froze, sensing danger. This was the chance. John released his arrow. It struck hard. The boar struggled violently before collapsing in defeat. That arrow carried no hatred. It carried a promise. A full harvest for my mother. Following fresh tracks, I trailed those that had escaped earlier. They led me into a damp, overgrown area. Aha, there it was. A wild boar cooling itself in the mud beneath a tree. I drew the bow tight and released with certainty. The arrow cut through the air, and with a dry thump, the beast thrashed, then fell still. The hunter's secret is to think like the prey itself. Only by understanding its thirst and exhaustion under the burning sun can you anticipate its next move. The hunt was far from over. As the afternoon shadows stretched long, we moved to the forest's edge, where another feeder had drawn intruders. Every step, every breath had to be silent. One mistake could cost the peace of this land. Perched on a high branch, I lined up the perfect shot. But the arrow sliced the air and missed. Missed! The beasts bolted instantly into the distance. Swallowing my frustration, I radioed their direction to my teammates, turning my mistake into their opportunity. The moment John received my call, he sprinted across the meadow to intercept. Along the way, he spotted dark shadows rustling in the tall grass, searching for food. In that tense moment, he drew his bow, the limbs bending to their limit. But haste ruined it. The arrow missed. The three brutes wheeled around and vanished eastward. Bow hunting is unforgiving. One mistimed breath, a tiny gust of wind, and the arrow strays. Failure stings, but every miss teaches the harsh line between success and defeat. John and I pressed on, tracking the survivors to a clearing deep in the forest, only to find not three, but an entire herd feasting together. From above, I drew tight, muscles straining, aiming at the massive target below. Arrows flew, and though some struck true, several beasts escaped. Fate seemed to mock us. Today's hunt was grueling. filled with narrow victories and bitter misses. But our determination to protect the fields is unshaken. We will return, armed even stronger. As sunset painted the sky, it was time to call a day. We packed our gear, loaded our spoils into the Jeep Gladiator and rolled home. This battle will only end when no wild boar threatens my mother's fields. Our helicopter lifted off the ground at the break of dawn, cutting through a thin veil of mist that blanketed the southern Italian grasslands. The pale morning light drifted across low shrubs, where wild boars silently roamed, leaving behind winding trails of hoofprints. Inside the cramped cabin, the engine's roar pounded against our chests. Neither John nor I spoke a word. Only the sharp clicks of rounds being chambered broke the silence. Focus was absolute. Our hunt for the day had begun. On the very first scouting run, we spotted a pack of jet black boars lumbering along the forest's edge. Startled by the engine's thunder overhead, they scattered in chaos, leaving a tangled mess of tracks on the grass below. John raised his rifle calmly. Each shot he fired found its mark with absolute precision. My hands gripped the controls, feeling every vibration as the helicopter shuddered with each sharp burst from his weapon. By the time the sun rose higher, we had found another massive herd. They scattered in all directions, weaving unpredictably, making pursuit nearly impossible. I kept the helicopter at just the right altitude, giving John the perfect angle. John squeezed the trigger with composure, his bullets slicing through the air before slamming into the targets. I adjusted in sync with his every move, our teamwork flowing like a silent dance. One by one, the destructive beasts collapsed under his steady aim. Relief washed over us. We knew the farmer's fields were a little safer now. The golden blaze of the afternoon sun stretched across the grasslands, adding yet another challenge to our hunt. From above, we spotted two stragglers wandering near the forest's edge. John wasted no time. He steadied his rifle, eyes locked onto the targets. Each bullet flew true, decisive and unerring. Both boars fell quickly, and for a moment I felt as though the farmer's entire harvest had been spared in that single instant. Had we not intercepted them, the losses would have been devastating, months of labor destroyed overnight. What do you think of our seamless teamwork? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Italian sun bore down mercilessly in the late afternoon, its blazing rays scorching the golden fields. From the helicopter, the shimmering air made aiming unreliable. Realizing conditions had turned against us, John and I made a swift decision: land the aircraft and continue the hunt on foot across the grasslands. As we followed a narrow trail cutting through the tall grass, a guttural growl suddenly erupted from a nearby thicket. My rifle came up instinctively, sight locked on the flicker of movement through the swaying grass. I squeezed the trigger slowly, one sharp crack, one clean shot. The bullet struck true, and the beast collapsed instantly. As the sun dipped westward, painting the fields in golden hues, we spotted a lone boar resting lazily, completely unaware of our presence. I steadied myself, rifle raised, eyes locked on the beast. With one smooth motion, I pulled the trigger. The shot rang out, precise, decisive. The boar froze, then fell without a sound. Clean, efficient, without disturbing the tranquility of the land. What do you think of the way I handled this? Share your thoughts below. With spirits high, our team decided to push on into night. Our targets remained the same, the massive, dark figures that lurked in the fields, sabotaging the farmers' crops. Then, a sudden rustle in the brush. A boar burst out, lightning fast. My heart nearly stopped. But John's reflexes were razor sharp. Without hesitation, he moved like a seasoned hunter, his bullets cutting through the chaos with pinpoint accuracy. The beast collapsed before it could inflict any more damage. We laughed in triumph, satisfied with the day's success. As we packed up and headed back to the village, we felt like heroes of the harvest. Today's hunt closed with tense encounters, flawless teamwork, and the kind of precision only born from experience and responsibility. Every bullet counted, every decision mattered. Wild boars are becoming a genuine menace across rural America. They ravage crops, attack livestock, and leave communities gripped by fear. Refusing to stand idly by, seasoned hunters have set out, armed to the teeth with a fierce resolve to wipe out these ferocious beasts. The clash between man and wild horde has begun. Who will emerge victorious in this high-stakes battle? Join us for the heart-stopping journey of the wild boar hunt, starting now. Join us as we embark on a journey into the rugged, untamed hills where wild boars roam, foraging and wreaking havoc. Fully equipped with rifles, flashlights, radios, and gear, the hunt for the feral pack kicks off amidst the majestic, yet perilous wilderness. Beneath the scorching sun on the hillside, I cautiously scanned every rustle around me. Down below, a beast was silently weaving through the parched underbrush. Stealthily closing in, I raised my rifle, steadied my grip, and waited for the perfect moment. The instant the target entered my crosshairs, I fired. The bullet flew true, striking the prey's flank, sending it skidding and writhing for a few seconds before it lay still. Almost simultaneously, my teammate spotted another dark shadow slinking away, trying to escape after witnessing its companion's downfall. Without a moment's hesitation, he raised his rifle, locked onto the target, and fired decisively. The bullet tore through the air, striking the fleeing prey. With a single shot, it crumpled to the ground, unable to resist, bringing a dramatic close to the thrilling chase. Pressing on toward the hill's crest, we were cautiously scanning the surroundings when out of nowhere a beast charged at me, primed to attack. Without hesitation, I held my breath, raised my rifle, and pulled the trigger. The bullet struck true, dropping the animal in its tracks. The ground quivered briefly before silence reclaimed the air. This hunt on the hill ended with us triumphing over the untamed wild. Stepping away from the rugged hills. Join us as we venture deep into a dense forest nearby. Thick with towering trees and treacherous terrain, this place demands a shift in tactics and gear to adapt to the new environment. Our hunting dogs are unleashed, scouring the surroundings for prey. We had only been threading through the dense forest canopy for a few minutes when danger suddenly struck. The hound's barks rang out urgently, full of warning. Something was closing in fast. A massive black shape burst from the thick undergrowth, charging straight at me as if to attack. With no time to think, I raised my rifle, locked onto the target, and pulled the trigger. A deafening shot shattered the forest's silence. The prey collapsed heavily before me, instantly lifeless. Silently pressing deeper into the forest, the rustling of dry leaves ahead made me freeze. Instinct told me it was prey, so I quietly eased into an attack position. Just seconds later, as expected, a dark shape flashed across my line of sight. Seizing the moment, I swiftly raised my rifle aimed true and fired. The bullet whistled through the air, and the prey skidded across the damp ground, collapsing motionless without a sound. After an arduous journey through treacherous hills and dense forests, we proved the mettle of seasoned hunters. This hunting trip was conducted in full compliance with legal regulations at a designated hunting area in the U.S. The harsh, brittle rustle of crushed leaves echoes through the air. Right in front of me, a massive, dark figure charges forward, snorting furiously. Wild boars again. I grip my teeth, eyes locked on the target ahead, gripping my rifle tight. I'm ready for a merciless showdown. My fields, my crops, my village, there's no way I'll let these boars lay them to waste. Let's begin. We had just arrived at today's destination, the thickets, the wild boar's favorite hideout. Suddenly, a shadow darts across, lightning fast. A huge, muscular boar with bristling hair bursts out, looking ferocious. Right behind it, my hunting dogs give chase, keeping close on its heels. A tense pursuit. All right, time to end this. Bang! The bullet flashes through the air and strikes the boar. It staggers, then collapses to the ground. My dogs swiftly pin it down. The first target is down, an excellent start to today's hunt and a smooth display of teamwork. From above, I scan the terrain. This place is packed with dense bushes. Suddenly, another boar bolts from the undergrowth, trying to escape, but that's the wrong move. A deafening gunshot tears through the silence. The bullet finds its mark. The beast tumbles, its massive frame crashing down. A clean kill. What do you think of that shot? Let us know in the comments below. The target is hiding here. You're surrounded, there's no escape. I raise my rifle, locking the target. Bang. Too easy. One clean shot, and the boar is down. Peace restored. Do you want to witness a chase where every second counts? That's the reality of hunting. No time for hesitation or doubt. Time to act. I load my weapon, finger on the trigger, eyes fixed ahead. Bang. Lightning quick. The boar drops instantly motionless. Perfect. Fast, sharp, precise. From a thick patch of bushes, a huge dark figure bursts out at terrifying speed. A charging boar, but I anticipated this. In a blink, my rifle is aimed, the trigger pulled. A sharp crack splits the air. The beast freezes mid-charge, collapses. Silence returns to the forest. A powerful reminder. This is not a place where wild boars roam freely. The hunt nears its end. Finally, the last target of the day. The boar hasn't realized the danger waiting ahead. Perfect. I'll give it a surprise. Target locked. A dry, sharp gunshot breaks the stillness. Direct hit. The boar stumbles, falls lifeless. Its carefree moments erased in an instant. The battle is over. I lower my rifle, a wave of relief mixed with a trace of sorrow washing over me. This isn't the joy of victory, but the calm of resolution. Now the vegetable fields, the corn patches, and the village can rest easy once more. I return with the trophy, but also with the weight of responsibility as a protector. One day, battles like this will begin again, and we'll always be ready. Our work is recognized and supported by the U.S. government. I send my gratitude to fellow hunters, local farmers, and the authorities who stood by us. Ensuring today's mission was accomplished, we operate within proper policies with support and risk insurance to carry out our duty.